Okay, so we don't have notes. Oh, there we go. This thing is set in stone. I want to see how you build a 2-weapon fighter alchemist. Preferably would like to make use of Poison Stance and Vistani. 2 levels of rogue, not necessary. Just there for traps. No tomes. Drow, point build. Okay. 2-weapon fighter, alchemical user. So here are the major problems with alchemy and 2-weapon fighting. Problem number 1 that is absolutely massive is that alchemists don't get any good 2-weapon, like single-handed weapons to use because they have to deal with simple weapons. So your options for simple weapons are super limited. There are 2 different options here that I would like to take you down on a roll. DM the build. No, that's where you put it. That's where everyone sends me their builds. Is they just DM them. There are 2 different options. If you'd like to stay as a drow, drow gives you daggers as your only option, meaning Vistani, Knife Fighter. If you don't have access to Vistani, Knife Fighter because you don't have access to Ravenloft, that is a big uh-oh. What's up, Draconic? How you doing? That is a big uh-oh. But if you're okay with flexing the drow element a little bit, there is another character class that uses really good light weapons that are also simple weapons, and heavy weapons that are also simple weapons. And that character is the Aasimar Scourge. Whoops, that was a mistake. Anyway, I'm not saying you have to use an Aasimar Scourge, but Aasimar Scourge is very interesting and does some cool shit. So if you're interested at all, I could give you the best version of the 2-weapon fighting alchemist, or stick with drow. Okay. Do you care about it being drow or not? I just need to double check. Because Aasimar Scourge does some cool stuff. It just starts at level 15. I just want to make sure, because I don't want to make a character that you don't want, or that is uninteresting to you, or that would be inaccessible. The cool thing about the Aasimar Scourge is that you get really, really strong melee damage, and a lot of very convenient and cool features and abilities, because you get, like, your weapons count as being good, they bypass a lot of immunities, more crit multi, indifferent. Perfect. Then let's make a Scourge. All right. So your character, unfortunately, starting with 15 dex. Oof, that's going to hurt you in the long run. Also, not enough intellect. How do we fix this? How do we fix these stats, everybody? Let's see. Do I need that much constitution? No. But do I need that much intelligence? Yeah, I do. 15 dex is probably fine. What can you do here? So instead of this, you start with this, and you have 2 more points. Which means you get like another point of strength. Yeah, the evens are weird. The evens are weird. Yeah, I would probably do something like this. And then go with dex at 9 would be when you could take the feat. So you want to go with dex here. Like so. And yes, this is also going to change. There's going to be 1 level of ranger in this build. So level 1 is going to be a level 1 of ranger. So it's going to be a 1 ranger, 1 rogue, 18 alchemist. Because you don't need 2 levels of rogue. Because you get evasion already. So it doesn't matter. Because you get it from being an alchemist. So let's change up the levels real quick. Leveling. Okay, this is going to be ranger. You want ranger at level 1. And you might say, oh, but this could be annoying to level. But it's not. Because your character is going to be... your character is mostly intelligence-based. Your skills go up the entire way. And you start at level 15 automatically. So the feat confusion just sorts itself out. You take 2 weapon fighting at level 1. Unfortunately, you don't get free 2 weapon fighting by taking 2 levels of ranger. Because you are an 18 alchemist. You're going deep into the alchemy tree. This is mostly a biochemist. Also, undead, because it just fits. Although, you actually don't need undead, because check it out. I can't take it. As an Aasimar Scourge, you get favorite enemy undead for free, which is pretty sweet. So I'd probably go with everyone's favorite human. You gotta fight humans all over the game. This is nice to have. There's so many powerful humans, too. Stupid powerful humans. So yeah, and now you're gonna go back to the 2 fighting feat. Improve 2-handed fighting. Go over here, grab greater 2-handed fighting. Is that really the first place you get it? Yeah, it is. Verudite spells? No. No. You take Liquid Luck. That's a way better spell. Yeah, Liquid Luck. You're not in Verudite anyway. This character is only in Orchidium. You need to be in Purple Stance all the time for the extra stance. So Purple Stance. You can take Battalion Brew for intelligence and damage. You might be like, I have to wait until 6. No, you don't. Start at 15, so you get it right away. Insightful Courage is great. Giving your will saves based off of your intelligence is perfect. Accelerate. I don't love Accelerate. It's not the worst thing, but I am not the biggest fan for a bunch of reasons. Reason number one is that I find that it oftentimes is like you're very rarely going to need to accelerate spells towards monsters. I find that the arc is not too egregious or aggressive. In this case, I probably would not take Accelerate. I would probably instead take Maximize. Why? Because your character will be a melee and will have melee range spells that deal damage that can be maximized. So that's a little bit more important. Taking everything as soon as you can. You took Improved Critical here with bludgeoning weapons, because your character is a bludgeoner now. How sick is that? Dodge? Is that a good feat for this character build? I mean, you don't have armor, which is kind of key. What else goes in here? You actually do get proficiency with armor, so you can wear light armor, which is pretty sick. You don't need any of this other stuff. You already have precision. You don't need any of the past life feats because you don't need your monsters. You're not casting spells on monsters that have saving throws. Extend is very convenient for many spell types. Extend is very convenient for spell types. Okay, then I'm going to fully customize this character and make like if I was doing this. I like doing this because then I get excited. I'm like, oh my god, what kind of character can we even create today? So dodge, I think this is going to stay for here, or stay here for now. I'm not exactly sure what I would do with this, but this is staying right here for now. As far as this feat here, so usually this is a dead feat slot, and there's nothing good here. But that's okay, because you actually do have something weird. Master of Poisons. Wave of Poison and Greater Wave of Poison. Perfect. You need those extra catch levels, so that's very good for this character. Perfect 2-weapon fighting. Of course you would need perfect 2-weapon fighting. Other feats that you would want to take for this character, you're probably going to take just epic damage reduction, and then probably one of these feats. I'm going to go with epic reflexes, because I think you're going to be able to get your reflex save high enough, but I'm honestly not too certain. And then for here, grab a classic toughness and dire charge. Toughness and dire charge. Character feels powerful. Scion of the Shadowfell, Arborea. Thank you. Because you're a melee. You want to do as much melee damage as possible. So why Master of Poisons? Well, with this character, you have a whole bunch of a few different trees you're going to be using. The Standing Knife Fighter sounds like it's good, but the reason why you play Aasimar is for the Aasimar Scourge. You need this Wisdom thing? Useless. Stronger Bonds? Useless. Totally useless. You want Scourge weapons, where light maces are considered good. Oversized 2-weapon fighting. Light and heavy maces. This character, usually while dual wielding, you have to use light weapons. But because you're an Aasimar Scourge, you get oversized 2-weapon fighting for free, allowing you to use any mace you want, including heavy maces. So your character is actually using heavy maces. On top of that, you get extra offhand double strike chance and offhand attack chance, which you normally wouldn't get, more melee power, and then you get 4 more melee power and +1 sacred bonus to critical multiplier, which stacks. It's sick. When you get a chance, I'm ready to open the Wiz Cleric. Absolutely. I've been doing build reviews for the past 2 hours, and I'm losing my mind. So yeah, we'll probably do some more. People like the build reviews. It's fun to go through some of the stuff. Now, another thing. I don't need Strength, Wisdom, or Charisma here, which kind of sucks, but that's okay. The cool thing about Aasimar Scourge is it has weird shit in the tree that's just good to take. Let's take Improved Recovery. Give me some of that extra health. Oh, and I have no choice. Fortitude saves is fine. Improved Scourge weapons is not too bad. Divine Purpose gives you extra light damage on hit that scales with your melee or range power. This is not that great. But it gives you a blind chance when you vorpal people. It's just that the Aasimar Scourge stuff is not super good. However, Bonds 2 gives you Ghost Touch with all weapons, which is not too bad. This doesn't matter what you take, so grab Bonds 2. Grab the Divine Purpose. Scourge weapons is great. Improved Recovery is great. And then Strike Down, Strike Down the Dead. I thought this ability was like not that great. I actually really like this. I use this all the time. I didn't realize it doesn't say it here, but it gives extra crit and multi, so it's a really good attack for low levels. How do people have 2k with only level 20? They're probably a tank. That's how. Hey, what's up, Milne? How you doing? You don't need this capstone here because you don't use your Aasimar Healing Hands for anything. So 10 positive spell power is probably fine. You can also grab extra Divine Purpose charges, but honestly, you don't need that. And you want to grab Destroyer of the Dead. So now this gives you extra melee power, and you're using heavy maces and morning stars interchangeably. On top of that, because you are a lawful good character, all your weapons are considered good for the purposes of overcoming damage reduction. Cool. Vistanian Knife Fighter, get the hell out of here. What a useless garbage tree. Who would even use Vistanian Knife Fighter? On top of that, pretty much all these other trees are pretty useless too. Assassin gives you nothing. Apothecary gives you nothing. You can technically go for Alchemical Shield, but you need to wear cloth for this to work, and I don't want to wear cloth. You want to wear, like, light armor with this type of character, so this seems bad. Thief Acrobat, again, nothing useful here. Deepwood Stalker, can't use any of this low-tier stuff. You only have 1 level of Ranger, although technically 1 sneak attack die for 1 point is not too bad, so this is, like, not outside of the realm of possibility. Tempest Tree gives you +1 to hit and damage while dual wielding, which is not too bad. That's a reasonably good point. And this is +2 armor class, 1 PRR, and 1 MRR for 1 point. So again, that's not too bad as an ability. Although you don't have deflect arrows. The rest of the stuff is okay. And then lastly, you want to use Biochemist. So I would say that in terms of trees where you're going to be spending your points, probably a little bit in Apothecary. Because Assassin, Mechanic, all this stuff isn't going to do well. Assassin, again, you can get sneak attack, but it's okay. This is not for me. This is for somebody else. I'm always doing it for somebody else. So you grab yourself extra hit chance here. Grab yourself the Vile Poison. 1 point for the stiffened skin. You want to be able to bypass immunity of poison damage, so you got to grab the Poisoned Strike attack for bypass. You also get Wave of Poison, because Wave of Poison gives you a bunch of extra damage. Firm Ambition gives you Fortitude saves while your reaction is Orchidium. Your reaction is going to be Orchidium, but you don't care about this, so ignore this. It's not very good. Next, you want to grab the Deadly Poison. So this is giving you +2 to hit, which is nice. Your character does not have a lot of good hit chance. Even though while your reaction was Orchidium, I believe it's up here. You get extra dodge cap, which is really nice. So it gives you +5 to your dodge cap, and you get critical damage multiplier. And I believe you get critical threat range from up here. So this gives you your threat range and your multi, which is why you need to go this far into the tree, and you get an extra 1 multi here. So your character multi is a ×4, which is pretty sweet. You also don't need to take this Alchemist Stone because you can't use it, which is sick. Percent-based health from Falconry, Stalwart, Aasimar, Racial. Yeah, exactly. People have a lot of stuff. Like tank builds, if people are playing tanky, they have like max out their Charisma, they get 20% health from being like a Paladin or a Fighter, or they're like playing a Barbarian and they have even more health because they get like base health from their trees. Past lives give you a bunch of health. There's a whole bunch of ways to get health in DDO. While your reaction is Orchidium, this is 8 PRR for 2 points. It's not too bad. And I would say at least 1 point in the minus threat is pretty good, and there's nothing else to take, so you put 2 points into minus threat. Grab Brush Aside. You have the defensive roll ability, where you can make reflex saves to reduce the amount of damage you take. And on top of that, you get the extra crit multi. Greater Wave of Poison, Fatal Poison, Contaminated Strikes, Chemical Weapon, Sapping Ambition. So why do you take these things? So with Greater Wave of Poison and Regular Wave of Poison, your character, you essentially walk into a combat and you go Wave of Poison, Greater Wave of Poison right away, and then just start hitting the monsters. By using Greater Wave of Poison and Wave of Poison, you strip monsters' immunity to poison, so you can hit them with your weapon attacks, which is very convenient. You put 2 dots on them. They can be maximized and quickened. You go boom, boom, so it's really fast. And they're just starting to tick damage over time. And then you start beating people to death. Fatal Poison is +1 threat range and more damage. The Contaminated Strikes makes it so as long as an enemy is contaminated, either with Poison Strike or Wave of Poison or Greater Wave of Poison, you apply vulnerability whenever you hit them. So you instantly stack people up to max vulnerability right away. You don't need fetters like other people. Chemical Weapon is +1 W, so it just gives you more attacks. And then on top of that, you get Sapping Ambition, so while your reaction is Orchidium, when you hit people, you get temporary mana, so you basically can't run out of mana. How cool is that? So you're just constantly like chunking people with mana or with spells and doing all sorts of stuff. Also, Seth P unlocked VIP, so /VIP Seth P. There you go. You're now added as a VIP. Congratulations, welcome. And you have 25 points left over, so you can spend the points wherever you want. Getting offense, getting defense. In this case, one of the main problems with playing as a Biochemist is you want to be purple all the time. You gotta be purple, which is casting the blue spells and the red spells. You know what's healing? Yellow. Not a blue or a red spell, which is problematic. So when you heal, you don't want to be spending as much time healing. You want to be spending more time, not healing, doing other stuff. However, the Apothecary tree is kind of weird. It gives you a Chemical Shield, which is kind of cool, but you can't use most of the other stuff in the tree. So let's not use Apothecary. Let's actually use... Do you have access to the Fade Arc Illusionist tree? Because if you do... Ooh, look at this. Look what I'm about to get here. I can get illusory weapons so my weapons don't break. Ooh, that's pretty good. And I can get extra mana. Immunity to magical missiles. That's pretty good. Extra intelligence. Ooh, I like intelligence. But all saving throws? More intelligence? Color spray? Ooh, wow, my character is feeling pretty good now. So now you have good crowd control from color spray if you want to throw it out, plus the blind. It basically instant kills eyeballs, which is convenient. You don't even have to take color spray. You just can if you want. You can grab 1 point in Tempest for some extra stats. You can grab the 1 point in the sneak attack training if you want to get the extra sneak attack, although I think this one's actually bad, so let's just not ever do that. So yeah, you don't ever want to do that. You grab 1 point in D with Stalker if you like the extra positive spell power and the sneak attack die. You go Falconry for the extra HP if you wanted with this type of character and be a little bit tankier and more defensive. The only problem with the Feydark Illusionist tree is that the further you spend into it, the less you want each thing. You don't need Bend Light because you're casting Displacement Draught on yourself. You don't need Spell Pen because you're an Alchemist. The crit chance is not the best because it works with your poison spells, which is cool, but because it is cool is not the perfect reason to use this. And then going further in to get, basically you're just getting 2 more points of intelligence. Another option instead of this is instead to use the Bombardier tree. The Bombardier tree is not too bad because it gives you extra crit chance with your some of your spells. And then you also get your weapons are considered spellcasting implements for some free spell power, and then you also get maximum catch level with your poison spells, which would actually impact both of your poison spells that you cast, which is kind of interesting. Which is there. And then of course, lastly, you have the Falconry tree, and you also have the Harper Agent tree. Now this character actually does want to use Harper Agent, which I completely forgot about, so we want to go in here, and you want to pick up Know the Angles. That's all you need, but you want to have it. So grab the enchantment, Know the Angles, boom, like so. You can even grab the Intelligence if you want, grab Intelligence if you want, like so. And that's not too bad. So you got Intelligence, all that other stuff. Basically, if you want to ignore this, you can exchange Magic Missile Protection and using Wands, and then instead you drop 1 point of Intelligence and you get the extra health from Falconry instead of this. But yeah, Third Assassin License benefit for Feydark Illusionist. For Assassins, not really. The Illusory Weapon is okay, but for the most part, you want to be using daggers, and so you just want the enchantment if you're going to use it. And the Color Spray effect, unless you're playing Intelligence Space, is not going to be the best for you. Alright, so there's that. I don't know if there's anything else I want to change here. At this point, this is just enhancement finagling. This is the most important part, these 2 parts of the tree here. This character doesn't have a lot of tankiness, which is kind of important. So you can swap out some of the extra damage from Feydark in exchange for some tankiness. But yeah, this would technically work. So you can basically just exchange Feydark Illusionist for the Falconry if you want to get the extra damage. Falconry. You would basically just go grab the physical resistance rating, the healing amp, and then get 5% extra life. And you still get 1 point of intelligence instead of 2, which may actually be relevant later. And then as far as Epic Destinies goes, you have a couple different options for your Epic Destiny, but probably the one you're going to want to go with the most is going to end up being Shadow Dancer, for aforementioned reasons. The reason why Shadow Dancer is pretty good is because, as I said, it grants you the extra intelligence from the tree, which is good. It gives you melee power, it gives you sneak attack die, which you could use very heavily on this character. And then you also get the Lithe, which gives you maximum dex bonus, which is important because you have maximum dodge on this character. You need as much max dex as you can physically get your hands on. You do something like that, not like that, like that. Fusion Strike. Like so, and then you have 1 more point to spend somewhere. Yeah, like that. Like this. You have the Executioner Strike. You've got the Shadow form, which gives you the incorporeality. So you're like an ethereal shadow alchemist kind of dude. You cast the Shadow form, you got the extra range. It's pretty sick. And then you do the same thing that you do on every character build. With this, you're going to be going into Fate Singer to grab the best ability in the game, Martial Hymn. What? Martial Hymn? Oh, what items should you use around level 20? It's hard to say what items you should use around level 20. You can get some of the stuff out of Keeper of the Borderlands. That stuff is pretty good. That one's not too bad. And then you go into Primal Avatar. You grab yourself Balanced Attacks, because Balanced Attacks is the best thing ever. Because it knocks people down. It gives you free Vorpals. Because your character does not have a lot of great crowd control, but that'll help out a lot. Rejuve Cocoon, and you're all happy here. And then finally, we got Itemization. So yeah, how do we fix the Itemization? Well, you're playing as an intelligence-based melee. You're also not playing as a necromancy type of melee. You're playing as a positive. So you're going to do this in a very simple manner, which is basically grab the part of the family set, grab all the melee stuff, and go. You're going to be using the Light Armor, the wild card, to make sure that you don't have Arcane Spell Failure with the wild card. It is important to get a Sapphire of Armored Agility, 15%. so you don't have to deal with arcane spell failure while casting your spells. Grab yourself a Hammer Fist. Blood Sigil Ring. This is very, very much like an easy build to come out with, because intelligence-based melee is not like super standard, but it's used pretty frequently by a lot of different people. Dire Wolf Belt. You don't need to worry about negative, so you can go ahead and grab the Cloak of Winter. You're dual wielding. You want to go into Heavy Mace and Morningstar. Between the two that you have options as here, you don't actually have to use a pair. But for Morningstars, you have the option. You can use the Lamplighter, which is okay. It has Fetters of Unreality, but you don't need this because you already apply this effect. Also, the Blinding effect on Vorpal, you also already apply, which is kind of neat. Your character already applies Blindness on Vorpal, so you don't need this either. But the Lamplighter does hit very hard for Morningstars. As far as Heavy Maces go, which is the other option, you also have the Everstorm, the Maelstrom Courser, which is just a higher base damage weapon, which is pretty good. There's also the Hellstroke, if you don't have Double Strike, but your character is going to pick up Double Strike anyway, so you don't need this. So that's why I would probably dual wield Everstorms if you can get your hands on them. Everstorm. Dual wield both of these. Dang, bid's getting out. Oh, rip. So it's already starting to come together. Feels pretty good. Now, generally with a character like this is where you would want to grab Titania's Glory, because it would give you Crown of Summer and also the Holy Burst, but you don't need that. So instead, you can grab the Crown of Fireflies. Very similar idea. You can also grab the Crown of Leaves, but I think the Crown of Fireflies is going to be a little bit better here. No, not Crown of Fireflies. Crown of Butterflies. That's it. Crown of Butterflies gives you magical sheltering, which your character doesn't have, as well as the Crown of Summer. And again, you don't need Titania's Glory, because you don't need the Smites and the Hallowed, and the Holy Burst doesn't affect you, because you already get good effect on your weapons automatically. How cool is that? Also, this is from Too Hot to Handle. Just replace it with another weapon that's also good. Instead of the Everstorm, by the way, if you wanted, instead of this, you could also use the Beacon of Day and the Beacon of Night set for the offhand to double strike, which is not too bad. This item set is reasonably good because it gives you armor piercing and insightful armor piercing, and it's very good as a starter weapon. But once you have like the actual rest of your item sets, I would say probably getting either 2 Beacon of Nights or 2 Beacon of Days is going to give you better. 2 Beacon of Days gives you meta line of good on your weapon, which means you can then just put whatever cool effects you want in here. Or just grab the Lamplighter because it does more damage. Yeah. And then lastly, pretty standard stuff. Going to grab a stunning item here. Oh, wait, I have 4-piece Winter, right? 4-piece Winter and the part of the family, and I have intelligence. This one, I don't have quality intelligence, and I don't have accuracy, and I don't have... So how do you get quality intelligence? I think it's just the Deep Promise Onyx, right? That sucks. So it's going to be a Slave Lords, so we're going to slave it up. That sounds bad, I shouldn't say that. Let's grab Slave Lords, quality intellect. You don't need sheltering. Instead, you're going to grab mana, because you don't have mana in this build. You're going to grab resistances, because you have all the other stats. And you'll probably grab... UMD? No, you don't need UMD. Character's good. Bell Pen? No, you don't have any DCs. Well, good old Tendon Slice. Can't go wrong with Tendon Slice. For a ring, grab the Celestial Ruby. Fill this in with a augment whatever you want. This literally doesn't matter. Strength, so you don't have to worry about being overburdened. And you're missing a Constitution item, and I believe you're missing Insightful Intelligence. But that's okay, because that's what this is for. Collective Sight. God, could you imagine if Collective Sight didn't exist, by the way? How much harder would it be to gear every character if we didn't have Collective Sight? Why lawful? Because it's better than being neutral good, because NG is no good. There's a Quality Intelligence ring? Wait, what's the Quality Intelligence ring? Ring of Thalos? No, you can't craft that. Humbleweed? No. Omniscience? You can't craft that. Wait, which one's the Quality Intelligence ring? I do not see it. Wait, Ring of Changes? Really? Oh, yeah, but this item sucks. So, yeah, we're going to avoid that. This makes me way happier. Yeah. And now you're going to go, like, crazy with, filigrees. So, let's see. You got to grab yourself a Voltaic Experiment. You got to get 2 of these, because that's going to be pretty good. Because you want that Voltaic Experiment. Times 3. Grab a Voltaic Experiment. Intelligence. And rarefy these up. Give me that MRR for free, baby. I think this character's not even high enough. What else is good on here? Inevitable Grave? No, that's got to be bad. Prowess doesn't really work because you don't have any action boosts with this character. You can cast action boosts, and they do proc Prowess, but it's once every 40 seconds. Is that as good? It's actually probably not that bad, because it's, as long as you run out of mana, you never run out of Prowess, which you'd probably do like one of those, and then yeah, probably grab yourself a Sucker Punch 1 against many with the melee power, and then a Sucker Punch melee power, and a 1 against many melee power, and then the last 5 you go into Prowess. Because Prowess is just too good. There's so many filigree sets that just don't see the light of day, and it's sad, you know, because there's some cool shit out there. There you go, Prowess. There you go. Now they can run free. Be rare. There you go. Beautiful filigrees. Dual wield Alchemist. Not feeling too bad. Could be better. Could be worse. All sorts of stuff. And yeah, missing. Like I said, you're missing a lot of past lives, potions, other things like that. And Alchemist in that MRR just feels bad. Oh yeah, and this also doesn't have Martial Him active, which would make it even more powerful. And then also First Life. You've got Con, Insightful Con, and Quality Con, and still that 91 hit points. This is also not with Epic Defensive Fighting active, which you would have active, by the way. So you would have Epic Defensive Fighting active. You would be an Orchidium. You would be using Know the Angles all the time. You would be using Precision. You would be using your Scourge Bond, which is good. And you would not have Divine Purpose active all the time. There we go. So it's a little bit more defensive. There we go. And then the Orchidium, of course, as I said, it gives you extra defensive stats, so you're fine. Weapon Fighter Alk, yeah. Anyone know of a Sonic item level 7 to 13? The forum post is up right now. You can go get the, like, at the...